My next guest fights for the vacant LFA light heavyweight title coming up here February 15th at LFA 60. It is Clayton York joining me here on the program for the very first time. Clayton, how are you today?
I'm good, James. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How was training today? Because I know you were just doing that before we hopped on this interview.
Yeah, going well. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Okay, that's excellent. And I understand you have a football background. That's where your, the love of sports sort of came, and then you went to jiu-jitsu. How was that transition going from football to mixed martial arts? Was it a seamless transition? Was it difficult? How did you find it?
No, it absolutely was not seamless. There's a lot of technique that really takes years and hours to build and develop. Obviously, with martial arts, and the same goes for football, but it's pretty drastically different. Conditioning is very different. Obviously, the ground game is much different. I think I'm a pretty decent athlete, and I think that all those years playing football were definitely valuable. Just as far as building athleticism, building fast twitch speed, and also just kind of building the attitude of an athlete and learning how to learn something and learning how to get better at something.
When did you become a fan of mixed martial arts? Was that while you were doing this transition, or did this happen before that?
No, I've always been a fan of mixed martial arts. I was in high school wrestling when the UFC first became really popular, and I think the first fight I ever watched was GSP and Frank Trigg. I remember just being kind of blown away by it, a little bit shocked by it because it was first real fight I had ever seen. But I've always been a fan of it, I'd always kind of in the back of my mind thought that'd be kind of fun to get into, and
Okay.
one thing led to another.
Safe to say then GSP probably your favorite fighter, or did you have another favorite?
I have too many to list. I was somewhat of a fan of boxing back in the day. Who doesn't love Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and those guys? I could try to list my favorite fighters, but we'd be here all day.
Exactly. Let's talk about some other stuff. Aside from fighting, what else do you do for a living? What pays the bills for you right now?
I'm a personal trainer. I was an exercise science major in school, and I've done strength conditioning. I train a lot of high school football athletes. Everything from older clients with scoliosis and degenerative joint issues to young kids who are wanting to be athletes.
Do you find it helps the fact that you're a fighter? Like if people want to come to you because they know that you can, that obviously not only do you know the stuff intellectually, but you can apply it to your own training with martial arts.
Yeah. It has helped me build up a little bit of business up here, and everybody wants to learn boxing, and I don't do a lot of that anymore. I don't teach a lot of it. Personally, I don't think I'm even good enough at it to be a coach, but But yeah, my background's more performance, powerlifting, speed coach.
Excellent. And how did this come together with you fighting for LFA in the main event for a title? I mean, that's a huge opportunity here.
Yeah, it is. I just signed with my agency, Iridium Sports Agency, just after my most previous fight, which was November 10th. They knew that I had a baby on the way, and I told them I wasn't going to fight for a while, and I was going to take some time off, be a dad, work, let my body recover a little bit. And they let me know, hey, we have this pretty big opportunity for you. We just wanted to run it by you, even though we know you're not planning on taking any fights soon. And I looked at the information, and I said, yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to go ahead and take this. So we did, and so here we are.
Good for you, man. How has fatherhood changed you for this training camp? Because I'm a dad as well, and it certainly changed me.
Yeah. Well, you know what it's like having a newborn. You know how rough it is not sleeping, and then, looking after a baby all the time. When my son, I have a 2-year-old and I have a newborn baby girl. So I fought 5 weeks after my son was born, and I said, I'll probably never do that again.
Right. Yeah. I know it's difficult on the sleep, especially you need that sleep.
Yeah. So now I'm fighting 2 weeks after my newborn. My baby girl was just born. So here we are again, deja vu. But it's going well. She's easy enough. Her mom's done a lot. And, I get to sleep a little bit more than I did last time around.
Good. Got to get those 8 hours, or at least close to it anyways, as we say. Let's talk about your opponent here, Julius Anglickas, 5-1 record. So similar record to yours. He's just got the one loss. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. I've watched a little bit of his film. He's an incredible athlete. He's a little taller. He's got really good, crisp, straight punches, and it looks like he has a pretty good wrestling IQ as well. As I understand, he's wrestled quite a bit growing up, and I think a little bit even collegiately. And I think he's tough, but everybody's tough at this level, and it's kind of what you got to be prepared for. There's no easy fights, once we get to this point in our careers.
Where are you training right now, and who are some of your main training partners?
I bounce around a little bit. My primary team is Impact Jiu-Jitsu in Portland, Oregon. We have phenomenal jiu-jitsu. We have 40 black belts in our academy, so the pool of knowledge that I have to pull from there is pretty ridiculous, really. I still go back to Oregon State. I spend as much time in the Oregon State wrestling room as I can, and I bounce around a little bit between California and Portland with Team Alpha Male as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because when you think of Alpha Male, you think of the lighter weight classes. Who are some of the guys you get to train with over there? As far as the heavier guys.
Yeah, they have a few bigger bodies, not a lot. They have a 6'6" middleweight that I get to spar with quite a bit over there. So obviously quite a bit taller than me, quite a bit, a college wrestler, talented guy. His name's Luke Brewer. They have another few welterweights and middleweights down there. All very wrestling focused, wrestling based, and everybody has a deep gas tank. Everybody's a good athlete, and everybody pushes the pace. So it's a really good environment to be in as far as wrestling and just being in a room full of athletes.
How did you split up your camp then? Like, how much time did you spend down at Alpha Male for this camp, and then at home as well? Because I'm sure you had a decent amount of notice for this fight.
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
We took this. This is pretty short notice. About 3 or 4 weeks ago. And as I said, I wasn't planning on taking a fight, but I'm just finished a previous fight. I'm still in pretty decent shape. I had the time to hit it hard and get a short training camp in. So no, I didn't go down to California for this one. I'm just stayed in Oregon, just doing what I've been doing, just building that gas tank and just kind of sharpening and refining some things.
How is that cut to 205 for you?
I've had some really bad ones. Recently, I think I've kind of figured it out. I'm a little bit more in tune with my body now, and I know how to I know how to do it and have it be a little bit less painful. So recently, it's been pretty good. I know if I'm about 220, I can make 205.
Okay, that's good.
Usually, I've done it a little heavier than that before, and I don't want to do it again.
You signed the contract. You feel like you're going to win the fight, but how do you see this fight playing out on February 15th?
We're gonna see. He's pretty good everywhere. I feel like I'm pretty good everywhere, and we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how the cards fall. There's always a surprise.
Right. And do you feel like this is an audition for the UFC? I mean, the last LFA champ, like heavyweight, I believe was Ryan Spann, and he had to fight on Contender Series, but he did eventually get signed to the UFC. Is that kind of what you're looking at for this fight?
I wouldn't say, certainly for this fight more than other fights, just because this has a little bit more exposure and a little bit more writing on it. But I kind of look at every fight that way,
Okay.
You got to win every fight. You got to win every fight dominantly, and you got to be kind of entertaining as well when you're in there. And I don't think that it doesn't change fight to fight, but I certainly do think that this one. Is going to be this is going to be the toughest one yet. So,
and yeah, certainly the spotlight's on on this fight, just with it being in the main event, being it for a title fight. Would you be open to fighting on Contender Series even if you did win the title, or is it just you kind of take it after this fight and see what the offers are?
Absolutely, I would love to fight for the Contender Series.
Okay. That's good. Before I let you go, what about downtime? What do you like doing when you get that little bit of free time? I know right now it's probably few and far between with the parenting duties, but do you get in any TV time at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a couple shows that I binge. Just finished Vikings, just finished Game of Thrones a while ago.
Okay.
I'll find something else here pretty soon. But I 2 kids. I mean, my hobby's basically just kind of being a dad, playing with my kid, going to work right now. So maybe in a few years that'll slow down a little bit.
Right. Well, in the meantime, we got to check it out. It's LFA 60 coming up here February 15th. Clayton, really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any thank yous or anything like that, man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my Instagram handle is C4_205. I have a couple local sponsors up here that I'm very grateful to: Koi Fusion, Atlas Motors, CBD World. There's a few more. There's a ton that I could list up here that have helped me quite a bit over the last few years. But yeah, thanks for having me, James.